Hello and welcome to Tech24. I'm Annelise Borges. Coming up, cybersecurity back on the agenda. As Europe releases its directive on network and information security, the US president is expected to issue an executive order designed to heighten cybersecurity standards. We'll look at the causes for these measures. And in Test 24, we introduce you to Huawei for Africa Windows Phone. The smartphone is part of Microsoft's For Africa initiative that will bring $75 million to the continent. But before we get to those stories, let's talk about money, virtual money. Amazon launched its own currency last week called Amazon Coins. The virtual currency can be used to purchase games and apps and follows Microsoft and Nintendo's lead. These initiatives are supposed to make it easier for users to spend money online. But it's not like we needed a push. 2012 saw all previous e-commerce records broken. Take a look.
In 2012, for the first time in the web's history, worldwide online sales of goods and services broke the $1 trillion mark. North America is still the main continent for e-commerce, with more than a third of the world's sales, followed by Asia and Western Europe. Asia, however, is on target to overtake North America as the global #1. Thanks to dynamism in China and India, the continent should gather nearly 40% of the whole e-commerce market by 2016.
That was the figure of the week, brought to you by Le Journal du Net. Moving on now, companies and government agencies have to cope with cyber attacks on a daily basis. In an attempt to address the problem, the European Commission published a cybersecurity strategy in a proposed directive on network and information security. Among its priorities, reducing cybercrime and developing a cyber defense policy. Over in the United States, the US president is expected to issue an executive order designed to heighten cybersecurity standards. Barack Obama has declared that cyber threat is one of the most serious economic and national security challenges the US faces as a nation. And the head of Homeland Security went as far as declaring that a cyber 9/11 could happen imminently. The truth is that with billions of IP addresses to control and new malicious codes created every second, tackling cybercrime is a daunting task. Here in France, 340,000 cybercrimes were reported in 2011. Here's a look at the effect cyber attacks have on companies.
In 2006, at Greenpeace's French headquarters, a hacker breached the computer of one of the environmental organisation's executives. Undetected, the cybercriminal conducted a thorough search of confidential files.
An email was sent targeting a specific person which contained a virus, which then opened a door to that person's computer, so a deliberate attempt was made to gain access to this information to cyberspy.
The investigation revealed that French energy giant EDF was behind the attack. Greenpeace has long been a thorn in the nuclear supplier's side, but it was still a surprise when EDF was charged with spying on the environmental group. Many other companies have been targeted by hackers, from small businesses to global organisations like Nissan, Citigroup, and even the Élysée Palace, home to the French president. 250 specially trained detectives are based here in Versailles investigating cybercrime.
Christophe, we seized this computer during the last raid. Could you recover all the data from it?
The computer is vital to securing a conviction. Data stored on the hard drive could provide the proof that investigators are looking for. In the department's most recent case, a major French defence company was breached.
The concern at the moment is whether people or organisations are leaking details about their contacts, which could cause problems in the future.
The stakes are high, and the cybersecurity business is booming. In this office, servers of stock market-listed companies are rigorously tested for any potential security weakness.
If any flaw we discover during the process isn't resolved, a hacker could well exploit these same security glitches and obtain information which they could then sell or use for their own personal gain.
Businesses affected by cybercrime don't tend to broadcast it. Authorities say only 10% of attacks are reported.
We'll now leave cybersecurity behind and take you to a part of the world where internet is opening doors and welcoming new participants. It's time for Test 24. Microsoft is taking aim at the world's fastest growing smartphone market. The company teamed up with Huawei of China to launch Huawei for Africa Windows Phone. The smartphone is part of a broader project that Microsoft is developing for the continent. The For Africa initiative consists of a $75 million investment to engage and promote Africa's economic development while driving commercial growth for Microsoft.
For Africa is about enabling and accelerating the social economic development of Africa, leveraging technology in three different aspects. One is about bringing online 1 million small medium businesses by 2016. The second goal is actually to train and enable 200,000 students or people with a lot of skills to get a fantastic jobs through technology. And the third one is really to put into the hands of tens of millions of Africans some smart devices like smartphones or tablets in the 3 years to come.
And Mark Edwards joins me now. Mark, let's first talk about the phone. What did you think of the Huawei for Africa Windows Phone?
Well, Annelise, to be honest, if you have a quick look, it's more or less those of you who've ever used a Huawei before. It's actually the Huawei Ascend W1. It's just an iteration of this. I found it a good phone, nothing too impressive, but in many ways, that's the whole point. What it is effectively a smartphone, high-end smartphone at a low-end price. It's just a couple of the main accessories that we've got here. Nice 4-inch screen, as you can see. It's got plenty of different apps. One of the main things they've been talking about is about the fact that it's got 420 hours of standby battery time, which is at 200 hours more than the iPhone, which could come very handy in Africa, where there are certain countries that can have certain power outages and that sort of thing. Standard processor, 512 megabyte RAM, not too fast, but it'll be enough to do everything that is needed. In terms of our Test 24 scores for the week, what we've got in terms of appearance, again, not revolutionary. It's a 6 out of 10. Nothing too new. Ease of use, I found it. I'm going to caveat the ease of use of the 7 out of 10 because, in fact, those of you who've used Windows 8 before will find it very easy. 8 or 9 out of 10. Those who haven't, probably more a 5 or a 6. Value for money, this is it. Best in class in terms of smartphones. Really high level value for money. I think that's going to be what stands it out from the crowd. The USP. Cash ratio.
Now, how about Microsoft's investment in Africa? We're talking about $75 million over the next 3 years. Where will all this money go?
So what they're trying to do is accelerating the use of smartphones across Africa. They're also looking to empower SMEs. And on top of that, they are looking to increase employability for African workers. Now, if we look at some of the numbers, that what they're actually doing is they're going to bring 1 million small to medium enterprise businesses online, which is absolutely fantastic. They're looking at developing around tens of millions of smartphones. They want tens of millions of smartphones in the hands of Africans within the next half a decade. They're also looking to increase employability for 100,000 current employees, upskill those guys, and finally 100,000 recent graduates. They will develop their skills, and then 75% of them will be put into Microsoft businesses in the future, which I think is very commendable.
All right, lovely. Thanks for that, Mark, and thank you for watching this edition of Tech 24. Don't forget, you can give us your feedback on the show via Facebook or on Twitter. We leave you today with a mission to find your way to Oz. Disney and Google have built an interactive circus to promote Disney's forthcoming movie, Oz the Great and Powerful. The Chrome experiment places an interactive circus in your web browser, something that's beautiful and fun, and points the way toward the future of web technology and marketing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.